This is paper 2 of the EdExcel GCSE 91 Maths Foundation paper from the November 2024 series. Question number 1. Write 17% as a fraction. Percentage means out of 100. So we have 17 out of 100. Question number 2. Write 140 minutes in hours and minutes. Well, the 140 minutes we can rewrite as 60 minutes plus another 60 minutes, and then we add on to this another 20 minutes. The 60 minutes and the 60 minutes give in total 2 hours, and then we add on to this 20 minutes. So we have 2 hours, 20 minutes. Question number 3. Write these numbers in order of size. Start with the smallest number. What we can do is write each of these numbers to 3 decimal places by putting a placeholder of 0 where we do not have 3 decimal places, as we see here. We can now order these numbers. So you can think of this to be 570, 507, 550. So this is the smallest, followed by this, followed by this, followed by this. So if we write down the original numbers, we have 0.05, 0.5, 0.507, and 0.57. Question number 4. Write down the mathematical name of this polygon. Here we have a hexagon. Question number 5. We have to find a number that is exactly halfway between -2 and 8. The way we can do this is to find the average of these two numbers. In other words, the mean of these two numbers, and that will tell us what is exactly halfway between -2 and 8. So here we would have -2 plus 8 divided by 2. -2 plus 8, that is 6. So we have 6 divided by 2, which is 3. Question number 6. Jo uses beads to make bracelets. For each bracelet, she uses 5 red beads and 7 white beads. Jo has 52 red beads and 80 white beads. We have to work out the greatest number of bracelets Jo can make. You must show all your working. So we've got red and white beads. She has available 52 red beads and 80 white beads. And what we know is for each bracelet we require 5 red beads and 7 white beads. So what we can do is find out how many beads would get us to 52 for red and how many beads would get us 80 for white. And we can do that by dividing. Here we can do 52 divided by 5. So let's work this out. 52 divided by 5, that's 10.4. And if I do 80 divided by 7, that's 11.42, etc. So we're limited by this 10.4, which means that the greatest number will equal 10. Question number 7. Here are the ages in years of 8 children. Part A, we have to work out the mean age. To work out the mean, we have to add up all these numbers and divide by how many numbers there are, which are 8. So the mean is equal to 14 plus 10 plus 10 plus 13 plus 15 plus 9 plus 15 plus 10, and then we divide all of this by 8, and that's because there are 8 children. So let's work this out. We have 14 plus 10 plus 10 plus 13 plus 15 plus 9 plus 15 plus 10, and then we divide by 8. You will find the mean to equal 12. Now for part B, we have to work out the range. So the range is the biggest number take away the smallest number. So the biggest number here is the 15. The smallest number is 9. 15 take away 9, that is 6. So the range is 6. Part C, one of the children is chosen at random. On the probability scale below, mark with a cross the probability that the child has an age of 15. So there's 8 numbers here, and 2 of them are aged 15. So the probability is 2 over 8, which simplifies to 1/4, and 1/4 is over here. Question number 8. Junaid says that 20 is a square number because 10 squared equals 20. Is Junaid correct? Give a reason for your answer. Well, clearly here he is incorrect, and that's because 10 squared equals 100, not 20. So therefore, Junaid is incorrect. Part B, Chloe says when you divide an even number by an even number, the answer is always an even number. We have to write down an example to show that Chloe is wrong. Well, if I have 6, which is an even number, and if I divide this by 2, which is another even number, I get 3. 3 here is odd, so therefore she's wrong. Question number 9. There are 90 red counters and 150 yellow counters in a bag. We have to write down the ratio of the number of red counters to the number of yellow counters. Give your ratio in its simplest form. So we have red to yellow being 90 to 150. And what we can do is divide both sides by 30. So if I divide both sides by 30, we end up with 3 to 5. Question number 10. Here is a square. The square has a perimeter of 40 centimeters. 5 of these squares are used to make the shape below. We have to work out the perimeter of the shape. If we've got a square with perimeter 40 centimeters, that means each length will be 40 divided by 4, because we've got 4 sides, which is equal to 10. So each side is 10. Now in this shape, how many sides do we have? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the perimeter will be 12 multiplied by 10, which is equal to 120. So we have 120 centimeters. Question number 11, part A. Simplify 2x multiplied by 3y. 2 times by 3 is 6, and then we have x multiplied by y, which is xy. Part B, we have to simplify 3d subtract 4e plus 2d plus e. 3d plus 2d, that is 5d. Negative 4e plus e, that is negative 3e. Question number 12. 180 tickets are sold for a concert. 60% of the tickets are child tickets. The rest of the tickets are adult tickets. The total cost of the 180 tickets is £1,944. Each child ticket costs £8. We have to work out the cost of each adult ticket. Well, what we can do first of all is find out how many adult tickets there are. If 60% are child tickets, that means 40% will be adult tickets. So for adult tickets, that's equal to 40% of 180. So let's work this out. We have 40% of 180, which is 72. So we have 72 adult tickets. The cost of each child ticket is £8. So what we need to do is find out how many children there are. So the children tickets will equal 60% of 180. So if I work out what this is, that's 108. So each child ticket costs £8. So the cost of children will equal 108 multiplied by £8, which is equal to £864. So that means the cost of adults altogether will equal 1944 take away 864, which is 1080. And so per ticket, adult price will equal 1080 divided by 72, because there's 72 adults altogether, so that's 15. So each adult ticket costs £15. Question number 13. ABC is a triangle, BCD is a straight line. We have to show that triangle ABC is isosceles. Give a reason for each stage of your working. Well, the first thing we can do is find out the angle BCA, which is this angle here. So the angle BCA will equal 180 take away 115, which is 65. So this angle is 65 degrees, and that's because angles on a straight line sum to 180 degrees. We can also find out this angle here, recognizing that angles around a point sum to 360. So the angle BAC will equal 360 take away the 310, which is 50, and that angles around a point sum to 360, so this angle here is 50 degrees. So therefore this angle here we can find out by recognizing that the angles in a triangle sum to 180. So the angle ABC equals 180 take away this 50 take away the 65, which is equal to 65 degrees. So this angle is 65. The reason? Angles in a triangle sum to 180. So therefore, because the angle BCA is equal to the angle ABC, which is 65, we have the base angles which are equal, which means ABC is isosceles. Question number 14. Amy walked from her home to the skate park. The travel graph of Amy's walk to the skate park is shown below. On the way to the skate park, Amy stopped at her friend's house. Part A, how far is it from her friend's house to the skate park? So when she stops, that's 3 kilometers in, so she's 3 kilometers away. Amy stayed at the skate park for 2 hours. She then walked home at a steady speed. She took 1 hour 30 minutes to walk home. Complete the graph. So she stayed for 2 hours, so that takes us to 5 p.m. and then it took her 1.5 hours to get home, so that takes us to 6:30. So let's show this. That's the final part of the journey. Question number 15. A map has a scale of 1 to 25,000. On a map, a road has a length of 14 centimeters. We have to work out the real length of the road. Give your answer in kilometers. So what we have to do is multiply, to begin with, the 14 by 25,000. So if I do 14 times by 25,000, that gets us 350,000, and this is centimeters. And what we need to do is convert this to kilometers. So to go from centimeters to meters, I have to divide by 100. So if I do 350,000 divided by 100, I get 3,500. So this is 3,500 meters. And to convert this into kilometers, what we'd have to do is divide this by 1,000, which gets us 3.5 kilometers. So that's the real length of the road. Question number 16. Aisha has 2 boxes of sweets, box A and box B. In box A there are only 10 red sweets and 30 green sweets. In box B there are only 7 red sweets and 18 green sweets. Aisha is going to take at random a sweet from box A and a sweet from box B. Which box gives Aisha the greater probability of taking a red sweet, box A or box B? You must show how you get your answer. So if I take a look at box A, the probability of getting a red, well, we've got 10 red out of, well, here I've got 10 plus 30, which is 40 in total, so that's 0.25. And therefore, in box B, the probability of red, that's equal to, well, I've got 7 red out of, now here I've got 18 plus 7, which is 25, and that's equal to 0.28. So which gives the greater probability? That will be box B. Question number 17. Last year Emma's car insurance cost £285. This year her car insurance costs 7% less. Work out the cost of Emma's car insurance this year. So we have £285 and we have to multiply this by 0.93, which corresponds to having 7% less. So let's work this out. We have 285 multiplied by 0.93, which is £265.05. Peter sells bikes. Each month he is paid £1,700 plus a bonus. The bonus is 5% of the total value of the bikes he sells that month. Last year Peter was paid £2,100. We have to work out the total value of the bikes he sold last month. So in terms of what Peter is paid, that's equal to £1,700 plus some bonus. And this 5% of the bonus, rather the bonus is the 5% of the value of the bikes. So we calculate the bonus by working out 5% of the value of the bikes. And that's what we need to do in this question. We need to calculate the value of the bikes. So we know that last month Peter was paid £2,100. So therefore his bonus will equal 2,100, take away the £1,700, which is equal to 400. So this £400 would correspond to 5% of the value of the bikes. So we've got £400 corresponding to 5%, and we need to work out the value of the bikes. In other words, we need to work out 100%. So we times by 20, and in doing so you will find the value of the bikes to equal 8,000. Question number 18. We have to describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle A onto triangle B. So let's match up all the corresponding points like so. And then from this we can see where our center is, that's here. If this length is 2 and this length is 4, that means A to B is going 2 times bigger. So here we have an enlargement with scale factor 2 and the center at the origin. Question number 19. Part A, we have to factorize fully 15w squared subtract 5w. The highest common factor of 15 and 5 is obviously 5, and then we've got w squared and w, the highest common factor there is w. So we have 5w on the outside, and then inside the bracket we'd have 3w, because 5w times 3w gives 15w squared, and then here we'd have minus 1, because minus 1 times by 5w gives negative 5w. Part B, on the number line below, show the set of values of x for which negative 2 is less than x, which is less than or equal to 4. So we have values in between negative 2 and 4. Let's show the circles. Because here we've got a strong inequality, we leave the circle empty, and because here we've got a weak inequality, we would fill in the circle here. Question number 20. We have to use our calculator to work out the value of the square root of 208.3 subtract 15.7 over 5.694 plus 1.8 squared all square rooted, and write down all the figures. So here we've got the square root of, and then we press the fraction button. We've got 208.3 subtract 15.7 over 5.694 plus 1.8 squared. And if we work out what this is, we have 4.643069317. Question number 21. The scatter graph shows information about some ships. It shows the length and the width of each ship. That's what we see here. Part A, what type of correlation does this scatter graph show? Well, as the length increases, the width also increases. So here we have a positive correlation. For part B, we have to draw a line of best fit. If I draw a line of best fit, that would look something like this. We have roughly the same amount of points above the line as we do below the line. A different ship has a length of 194 meters. We have to use our line of best fit to find an estimate for the width of this ship. So here we have to find out where 194 is. So here we've got 190, and 194 would be here. And then we draw a line across, and that value is, well, here we've got 25, then we've got 26, 27, and then here we've got 28. So we've got 28. Question number 22. In London, a chocky bar, we've got 200 grams, £3.50. In Zurich, 360 grams, that's 7.20 Swiss francs. The exchange rate is £1 equals 1.25 Swiss francs. In which city is each occupied better value for money? In London or in Zurich? You must show how you get your answer. So what we can do is find out the price per gram. So here in London, we've got 200 grams equals £3.50. So therefore, 1 gram, if I divide by 200, I've got £3.50 divided by 200, which is 0.0175. In Zurich, let's first of all convert 7.20 Swiss francs into pounds, and we can do this by dividing that by 125. So if I do 7.20 divided by 125, I get 5.76. So here we've got 360 grams equals £5.76. So for 1 gram, I need to do this divided by 360, which is 0.016. So which is less value for money? That will be Zurich, because this amount is less than this amount. So therefore, Zurich has better value for money. Question number 23. We've got a set of odd numbers. We've got A shown here and B shown here, and Tom was asked to draw a Venn diagram for this information as we see here. We have to write down 2 things Tom should do to make his answer fully correct. Well, odd numbers between 0 and 20, well, we've got 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17 and 19. What you'll find first of all is it's got a 17 here and a 17 here. And 17 should be in the only in the intersection rather than A. So 17 should be in the intersection only. Now A and B do not contain 1. So 1 should be in the outside region. Question number 24. Part A, we have to complete the table of values for y equals x squared subtract 2x subtract 3. If we go to the table and graph application, and then we have here x squared subtract 2x subtract 3, and if we go to viewing setup, set table domain, we are starting at -2, we are finishing at 4, and we're going up in ones. Let us display the table. We can write down the corresponding y values. So here we've got 5, then we've got 0, then we've got -3, then we've got -4, then we've got -3, and we've got 0, then we've got 5. And now for part B, we have to draw this graph. So if I draw the graph, it should look something like this. So let's draw that on this grid. We begin by plotting the points. So we've got -2, 5, that's here. Then we've got -1, 0. Then we've got 0, -3. Then we've got 1, -4. then we've got 2, -3, 3, 0, and then we've got 4, 5, like this. So now let's join all these points up with a smooth curve. So we have something looking like this. Question number 25. The cost of a first class stamp increased from 76p to 85p. The cost of a second class stamp increased from 65p to 66p. Philip says the percentage increase in the cost of a first class stamp is more than 7 times the percentage increase in the cost of a second class stamp. Is Philip correct? You must show you working. Well, let's take a look at the first class. We're going from 76p to 85p, so that's a 9p increase. So if I do 9 over 76 times by 100, this will tell me the percentage increase. So I've got 9 divided by 76 multiplied by 100, which is 11.842, etc. %. If we take a look at the second class stamp, well, we're going from 65p to 66p, so that's an increase of 1, and divide by the original 65 and then times by 100. So if I do 1 divided by 65 times 100, I get 1.53, etc. %. Now, using his claim, if I do 1.53, etc. times by 7, we get 10.76, etc. %. Now, if I compare this amount with the 11.42, you can see that the 11.84 is greater, which means that Philip is correct. Question number 26. The diagram shows triangle ABC. In the diagram, all measurements are in centimeters. We know that AC equals BC, and the perimeter of the triangle is 72 centimeters. We have to work out the area of the triangle. For this, let's work out the value of x. Now, if AC equals BC, that means we have 2x plus 11 equals 4x minus 4. And we need to solve for x to begin with. So if we do that, let's take away 2x from both sides. So we have 11 equals 2x minus 4. Add 4 to both sides. So we have 15 equals 2x, which means x equals 7.5. And with this, we can find out what each side is. So if I do 2 times 7.5 plus 11, that means this side is 26, which means this side is also 26. And if I do 2 times by 7.5 and then add 5, here I would get 20. So that's the length of each side. Now, to work out the area of a triangle, we need the base, which we've got, and then we also need the height. So here is the height of the triangle, which we need to work out. Now, if I draw a triangle, which is this triangle but cut in half at this point, here I've got a length of 10 because I've cut it in half. This I know is 26, and this length is what I need to find. And we can do that using Pythagoras. Which means, if I call this height h, we would have h squared plus 10 squared equals 26 squared. So h squared, let's work this out, that's equal to 26 squared take away 10 squared, which is 576, meaning the value of h will equal the square root of this, which is 24. So therefore, I've got a height of 24. So to work out the area equals 1/2 times by the base, which is 20, times by the height, which is 24. So here we get 240 centimeters squared. Question number 27. 1.25 times 10 to the negative 12 equals k times by 4 times 10 to the negative 20. We have to work out the value of k. Give your answer in standard form. Well, k will equal 1.25 times 10 to the negative 12 over 4 times by 10 to the negative 20. So let's work this out. We've got 1.25 times by 10 to the power of negative 12 over 4 times by 10 to the power of negative 20. Here we get 31250000. And if I move the decimal place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to the left, we would have 3.125 times by 10 to the 7. Question number 28. The diagram shows a solid cylinder with base radius 3 centimeters and height 10 centimeters. The cylinder is made from steel. It has a mass of 2,250 grams. We have to work out the density of the steel. Give your answer correct to 3 significant figures. What we need to do to begin with is work out the volume. The volume is equal to the area of the circle times by the height. So over here we've got pi times by 3 squared times by the height, which is 10. So here we get 90 pi centimeters squared. The density is equal to the mass over the volume. So we've got the mass 2250 grams over the volume 90 pi centimeters squared cubed. So if I do 2250 divided by 90 pi, we get 7.957, etc. So to 3 significant figures, we have 7.96 to 3 significant figures.